Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Welcome to Waffle Box.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, it's not. It's
Gets
gross.
the people going.
You ate birthday cake on the toilet?
Don't you?
But does it have a dildo and a bazooka being shot right at the camera?
No, it does not.
It sounds uncomfortable to me, and we're currently standing on the ground right now.
I might start using that as an insult. I might start calling people dumb dolphins.
Billiards is almost as old as craps and prostitution. What the fuck?
Oh, God. That's not where I thought it was going to go.
The stick you can use as a bat. You can play as a sword. You can just beat a fool with it. I think maybe the craziest thing I bought was like the Cheers box set.
And then suddenly she's having this conversation with this plank of wood, Judge 2x4, when she, instead of hitting the gavel, she just headbutts the desk. And that's final. Boom.
Whew, I for some reason know a lot about magic.
Syrup Squad assemble! It's Waffle Box time! It's the last episode before Christmas, the penultimate episode before 2022. Coming up on episode 29, we're talking Amazon banning themselves from Twitch. We're talking our top 5 Christmas movies. We've got a Spiderman No Way Home spoiler-free review coming up, so don't turn away now. And so much more. I am Mike Fish, and I am, as always, joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Kush Hayes. Kush, how you doing, my man?
Ho, 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 y'all. What's good, Mike Fish? How you doing?
I'm good. I've got 2 more days left at work before the holiday break, so I'm frustrated, but getting excited. Because
it's not like a ghost town around there right now. Like,
I mean, I don't know. I don't step outside that very often. I only smoke a cigarette, which I don't condone. Kids, it's a bad habit. Don't start.
I do. Smoke them if you got them. I wish I'd smoke less so I could smoke more.
It's not a bad, what's the word? Lifestyle. I don't know. Anyway.
Motto.
Mantra. There we go. See, this is why we're a team. We complete each other's sentences. It's wonderful. How you been? It's Christmas coming up in a couple of days. Are you all set for Christmas? You got all the gifts under the tree? Everyone excited?
We still have to get the tree put up, but we got the tree, so that's important. Some folks are not going to get their gift this year, or at least on time. There are gifts currently sitting right here. They just didn't get to the post office. Apologies in advance, Aunt and Uncle Hayes. But
haven't put your tree up yet.
You know, I'm usually pretty lackadaisical on that. Like, I'll do that Christmas Eve proper. I don't know why. It's a tiny tree too this year, but I usually do that very, very, very last minute.
Well, are you?
It's fun. You wake up in the morning, the tree's all lit up. The presents are there now, and it's
Are you team real tree or team fake tree?
We've never had a fake tree. I would probably have a fake tree, but there's just no room to store it.
Yeah, I grew up with a fake tree, which is, I guess, it's not the same. Like, you pull it down and you have to unfold the thing. Well, it's a nice little tradition. We drive to the place, pick out our tree, they whack it on top of the car, we drive it home. I struggle to bring it up the stairs. It's a tradition. It's wonderful. I always get frustrated and start swearing. And then the needles are all over the fucking place, but whatever.
Needles all over the place is always a problem. But that's why there's a vacuum. That's why Dyson made a vacuum, kids. Indeed.
It's the story of Christmas. But I tell you, there's nothing better than, well, there probably is something better, but it's waking up and walking out and you can smell the Christmas tree. It's a nice smell. Mm-hmm. It's a wonderful smell. You don't get that from a fake tree. You just get the smell of dust. And
then on Christmas Day,
bad memories.
You'll get all the kitchens cooking at the same time. So there's just that aroma is in the air. And then maybe you smell some chimney smoke. No chimneys here in my neighborhood, but the next neighborhood's only a mile and a half, and the wind will carry. So it's always nice.
Who's got real chimneys around here anymore? It's not 1920. What's going on?
Plenty of them in San Francisco.
Really? Oh, I guess
sure.
Santa loves that.
Mm-hmm.
Around here, Santa has to break in through the window.
I hope that's Santa.
Yeah.
Woo!
Sometimes you can't tell.
Yeah.
But anyway, what else have you done? Any exciting adventures in the last 7 days?
In addition to seeing Spider-Man Far From Home, which we'll be talking about later tonight.
Or is it Far From Home or No Way Home? I thought it was Far
No
From
Way
Home.
Home. Spider-Man 3.
There's always
Okay.
home somewhere in the title.
Yeah. Spider-Man 3.2. So, in addition to seeing that, I saw Nightmare Alley, Guillermo del Toro, Bradley Cooper, Kate Blanchett. Beautiful looking
cast.
movie. I love the first half of this movie, and then they leave the circus, and it just kind of spirals out for me, and I lose interest. And there's still an hour and 20 minutes to go after that. It's like, oh, but again, great looking movie. So if you need to see something in a theater that is not Spider-Man, I would absolutely still recommend that one.
Definitely. Guess what I did for the first time this week?
Snowboarding,
No, not that.
parachuting.
If snowboarding was the answer, I'd be starring in this podcast in like one of those full body casts where we're like, it's
Naked bungee jumping
naked
in the snow.
No, this is okay.
That's
you're
three
hyping
strikes.
this.
I'm out.
Yeah, you are hyping this way, so this is not as exciting as a story now. But I actually changed a tire on a car for the first time.
Okay, yeah, man, good for you.
No, well, it wasn't good for me because Sunday I found a nail sticking in my tire, which was nice and flat, which is
Did you
always
drive past a construction site?
not that I'm aware of. So I don't know where it
Okay.
came from. But yeah,
That's fair.
but the problem was, so I jacked up the car as you do, removed the flat, and then I went to the trunk to get the spare tire out so I could put that on and drive to the car body shop, whatever tire place.
Yep.
And then I realized, I've owned this car for almost 4 years and I have never once checked the spare tire.
Oh,
Now, not to get too geeky and too into it, but apparently, so a spare tire needs to be at around 60 psi for it to be a prime optimal level of operation because it's a slightly smaller tire and all that bullshit. So I checked it and it was at 18, which is
significantly less.
smaller than 60. So I was like, well, I guess this is better than flat, I guess. So I put it on. And so this was Sunday and I couldn't take the car to get fixed until Monday. So I was like, well, let's at least pad this out. So the gas station was like 5 minutes away, which has the air pump thing. But I swear, I must have annoyed, even just that short journey, I must have annoyed so many New Jerseyans because I was like, one, I'm driving on a spare. Two, this spare is not inflated as much as it should be. So I was like,
you're definitely dipping.
I was crawling at like 10 miles per hour. I was like, nope, I'm not taking any risks.
I don't blame you.
But always well, I took it to the place on Monday, 10 minutes, $20, and I'm away. Good as new. This is always nice.
$10 for a new tire?
$20.
$20 for a new tire?
It wasn't a new tire. They repaired the old tire.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, but a new tire around here, you're looking at least like 70, $80 for a decent one, for a half decent one.
About 200. I don't know.
I don't drive a monster truck. This is a Toyota Corolla. I'm not spending that much. But yeah.
I hope
so
not.
at first, at the age of 36, still experiencing firsts in this glorious thing that we call life. Which is always
Good. That's a skill you're going to need to know again. It's not a matter of when or where or when, but it's going to happen.
Not if, it's when. There we go. I know what you're talking about.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right. Let's break it down. Let's head into the news of this week. The big news. Waffle Box news. So did you hear that apparently, this podcast, do you remember like how this podcast changes the world, right? Like you remember when we stood up for OnlyFans and then immediately after our episode dropped, they changed their ruling and allowed people to post their buttholes again. We changed the world for the better that way. Last week, I made the point of like, why in movie and music award shows are there men and women categories? It's dumb. Then the Brit Awards apparently heard my accent from across the pond and was like, He's right. Mike's right. And the Brit Awards, the music ceremony over in Britland, has ditched their gender categories and have gone to a gender neutral awards. So now, rather than best male, best female, they just literally just have best British artist and best international, and that's it.
Okay.
Now, as you can imagine, so this is where maybe I need to talk a little bit more, maybe I don't, but the reason which I thought that was is very different. So obviously, as you can imagine, social media in 2021, people, all they heard was gender neutral awards, and as you can imagine, they reacted like civil grown-up adults.
I wanted to join in on the sarcasm there, but I couldn't.
Couldn't keep a straight face.
Overwhelming. No.
So Piers Morgan, who, if you don't know who Piers Morgan is, then I envy
I know his
you.
name, but I've not consciously seen him.
He is what we say in England, a twat.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that.
Yeah. So he called this woke garbage. And it's, So the reason, so before I get into the reason why they did it, the reason I think there shouldn't be male and female categories in these types of award shows is because I don't see the point. Like in, like, for example, sports, where you have, like, for example, like weightlifting, obviously genetically men have an advantage over women because of how their bodies are built. So it would be unfair. I mean, obviously, don't get me wrong. Some of the women, there are many women way stronger than me. Look at these water pistols that I've got cracking on. But just generally, obviously, top of their game, male weightlifters are going to be stronger than top of the game women, etc., etc. Anyway, so it'd be unfair. Whereas whether you're a man or a woman doesn't give you a genetic advantage of singing. It doesn't give you a genetic advantage of acting. So it just didn't make sense to me why they were separated. You're a good actor or you're not. You're a good musician or you're not. It doesn't, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm trying to pick up what you're putting down. I think this might be a little bit out of our pay grade. We've tried to tackle subjects like this before, and I think we might be a little out of our element. However, I am very interested in seeing where this goes, but my knee-jerk reaction is this going to cause more problems than it was going to try and resolve. And what I mean by that is 1 year there's only going to be 5 men nominated. 1 year there's only going to be 5 women nominated. Like, there's never going to be, people just want to bitch about anything, and I think this is going to cause them to groan and gripe and bitch and complain more and more than even they thought they might.
Right. Well, that was a thing. A lot of people, like Culture Secretary Nadine Dorries in the UK, said she was concerned about the move just simply because of female representation. She was worried that it was just going to be, hey, it's best artist. It's just going to be all men nominated. That's what she was worried about. But apparently, according to this article from the BBC, the first nominations under the new system actually deliver the most female nominees in more than a decade. With Adele, Olivia Rodrigo, and Dua Lipa in the running for multiple prizes. So, you know, like I said, I guess, yeah, it is definitely something to keep an eye on because, yes, you don't want it almost being, hey, we are being really good by scrapping male, female, because obviously there's multi-genders, gender fluid, things like that. But yeah, you don't want it to bleed to that being an excuse for, it's like, hey, we're just going to look after the boys. You know what I mean? That which you could, yeah, that's a thing. But it makes sense because one of the things, like, do you know Sam Smith?
Not personally, but I'm not familiar with this name either.
Right. So he's a British musician, very good singer. But yeah, the problem was, I think, what kind of broke the camel's back. The
gender fluid kid.
Yeah. So he came out last year or earlier this year as non-binary.
Non-binary. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That was what I was just about to ask you.
Which basically meant
can't be in the men category, can't be in the lady category.
Yeah, so
what do you do?
You don't get nominated, pal. So yeah, that's good. I mean,
is Sam Smith not a new artist?
No, he's been He's been rocking it for several years. He's a pretty big name in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those.
All this.
He's one of those guys that, they are.
You keep saying he.
Yes.
You keep saying he, so that's throwing my game off too.
Like,
I'm an old man, Mike Fish. So
I know.
This is all hard to process.
It's So, but if you heard a song by them, they're one of those that if you like, I don't know them, but once you heard them, you'd be like, oh, that's Sam Smith. Oh, okay. I know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
Because he's had some big, although then again, I don't know how well he's crossed the ocean. But I'm sure he's done. One of my favorite examples of that was always when I was like growing up was Fleetwood Mac.
Okay.
Like at the time, I remember maybe like 5-6 years ago, even that. If you asked me to name 5 Fleetwood Mac songs, I would have been, I can name you maybe 2. But then it was over time, it's like I'd obviously hear these songs and be like, oh shit, that's Fleetwood Mac. I know that song, I love that song. And it's like, it was just one of those things. So yeah, I think he's I
understand.
One of those. But yes, so the Brit Awards going gender neutral, which apparently isn't a new thing though as well. Because where is it? I saw it's somewhere I highlight bits and I forgot to highlight this. But apparently a lot of award shows over here in Yankee Land have been doing it for quite some time. So like the MTV Awards, the Grammys, apparently.
Well, MTV Awards has always been Best New Video, right? It's probably been 20 years since I've seen the Video Awards. So what can you expand upon with that?
But the Grammys, apparently they've been gender neutral for many years, or a couple of years. I was like, I didn't notice that.
Really?
Well, according to the BBC.
According to the BBC, huh?
Who knows? They could be talking out their buttholes, which you see on OnlyFans.
How is BBC's rep these days? Are they in the same boat like the CNNs and the Wall Street journals?
The opinion of BBC all depends on your political leaning, I guess.
Who's in charge? Gotcha. Okay. Well,
because
I look forward to us revisiting this in 2022, and also big fan of the Dua Lipa, so we're interested to see what she does. Great performance she had last year.
She's a very talented young lady.
Oh, super dope fucking performance, man! It was great production, loved it.
Did you see the photos she put out the other day? Where she's like, it's
good stuff.
It's just her in a very skimpy bikini, but giant fur boots. So I'm assuming it's cold.
Well, she's Albanian, so she's used to the cold.
But that's always a sign when how I know I'm starting to get old.
Oh.
Where literally the first instinct thought that came into my mind when I saw this picture of Dua Lipa outside wearing a tiny itsy bitsy bikini was, she must be freezing. She must have clothes on. She'll catch her death.
Probably was too. She probably was too. As soon as everyone was done, they put a jacket on her, and she went inside and had some cocoa. Or according to many of her songs, lots of booze and pills.
Whatever keeps you warm, I guess.
Booze and pills will do that.
Speaking of exposing oneself, a segue. Amazon, who famously own, I keep saying things. Why do I keep saying it? As famously, as if every man in the street knows that Amazon owns Twitch. Hardly anyone knows Amazon owns Twitch. But anyway, yes, Twitch, which is the streaming website, which used to be a gaming website. Now it's whatever, anyone put anything on there, so they don't expose themselves anyway. Owned by Amazon. So they have their set of rules, what you can and cannot do on Twitch, right? Mm-hmm. And as I say, they're owned by Amazon. So an Amazon-owned account, so Amazon España, Amazon Prime Video España, have their own Twitch channel, and they have a show called Esto es un late, which roughly translates to, I don't know. But,
I was hoping it's something sexier than that. What a stupid title.
It's while we're So yeah, basically, so they have a Twitch show called Estu Un Late, in which I guess they were on for a long time, and the hosts were kind of getting bored. And apparently, Esto es un late means this is late. Fantastic. that was worth the time searching.
It sounds better in its native Spanish.
It does sound better in Spanish. So what had happened was, so they were streaming, and I guess they got bored or whatever. They was trying to look for a way to end the stream, right? And so one of their hosts, comedian Hena Alvarez, maybe I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, lifted up her shirt partway, apparently joking that this was one way to end the hours-long broadcast. She said, "We're about to be banned," she said, laughing. "Come on, they're going to ban us." To which moments later they did. Like literally a couple of seconds later, it cut to a title card and then they were gone. So, which is slightly embarrassing because, you know, when I imagine some of those are going to get in trouble because, you know, it's not a good look when an Amazon owned account gets banned on a platform owned by Amazon. It's not a good look.
Well, they're a little loosey goosey over there in España.
Mediterranean, whatever.
Yeah,
Living the vida loca, baby.
By a lot. So, you know, like there was a joke in that movie Euro Trip where they're like, you know, you get to see titties in orange juice commercials, and sure enough, they cut to an orange juice commercial, just a topless woman just pouring orange juice and just going, "Oye," yeah, like. I cannot confirm this with my trip to the Netherlands, but I imagine it's still true everywhere in Europe.
Yeah, I've never seen titties on a commercial.
Anyways,
Amazon
needs to be super double strict, especially about its own accounts. And,
yes.
Yeah. Oops. That channel will probably be resurrected, but that show will probably not stream on it again.
Or it will under new hosts.
Well, no, yeah. There you go.
But
I'm not saying the show's getting canceled. I'm just saying they ain't gonna stream on Twitch.
So the only reason I bring this story up is if you've been watching or listening every episode of Waffle Box, you know I am a sucker for hilarious lines. Like if they make me giggle, I want to talk about it. So Twitch has strict rules around partial or full nudity on camera. And one of the lines, which I'm about to quote, is, "For those who present as women," interesting, "we ask that you cover your nipples. We do not permit exposed underbust." Which I'm sure that's underboob. Side boob.
Under boob.
But that's almost like more to unpack than the Brit Awards, right? Like, where do you like for those who present as women? What the hell does that even mean?
I can't even pronounce it correctly. Like male transitioning females.
But
like
then
if your intention is to identify as a female, then no nipples for you. But if you're a busty young lad at 36D and you're identifying as a man's man, all right, show those fuckers off all day long. Yeah, like Meatloaf in Fight Club.
Which I would argue that I would say Meatloaf's nipples are more offensive than any woman's, but maybe for a different reason.
Probably just canceled.
Twitch. Sorry, Meatloaf. Come on the show one day. Oh man, we can discuss your nipples. Apparently, it also does not permit sexually suggestive content, such as a camera focusing on breasts, buttocks, or pelvic region.
So that means we can't put Meatloaf's breasts front and center camera.
No, they have to be kind of in the background.
They can be in profile. They can walk through the scene, but they can't be the sole focus of the scene.
Right. So if Meatloaf walks behind me with his top off, I can't notice them. Otherwise, now they're part of the attention now. So
no, you can notice it, but Meatloaf has to get out of frame immediately. Like it's something like you'd be like, and then you can react properly. But Meatloaf absolutely has to be off camera.
like, I would do anything for love, but I won't do that.
I was waiting
Get
for
off
you
my-
to drop that.
Get off my stream. Another great wordage here. So in the past, apparently, women who dressed in a way that some considered suggestive were referred to as booby streamers.
Yeah, so like Dua Lipa's outfit wouldn't fly on Twitch right
she
now,
would not be able to.
despite it being
play any video
fully
games.
covering up her man nipples and everything. Like yeah.
But then there's like the last line. It's like more recently, the emergence of hot tub meta, where streamers
Hot
would
tub.
broadcast in swimwear from an indoor hot tub, raise similar questions about what is and what is not allowed. That sounds fun to me. I imagine we could do that with that waffle box from the hot tub. This would be great.
But
Although imagine the audio would be like, because all you'd be able to hear us talking, but then you just hear the bubbles and it'd just be a mess.
you'd have a weird craving for soup the entire time. Like,
Interesting. Would you want to add on top of that? Where?
boiling water, stupid.
Oh, okay. I was like, wondering what soup? What? Where'd my timer go? There it is. Okay, we're good. We're good. So there you go. If you're going to be on Twitch, keep that underboob away. And because yeah, for the sake of research, I looked up the clip,
Mhm.
and it was literally like she was
Just
pretty much just showing her. No, she was just literally showing her belly button, but it was like close to her breast. So I was like,
oh
Really?
really?
Like, come
Not even that
on.
much. Wow,
no,
that's
it,
stupid.
it was
You're playing
it was.
yourself, Twitch.
That's where the subjectiveness comes into it, because yes, she was suggesting that she was going to reveal her, but she didn't, and it was like, oh, okay. I thought, because sometimes where you see all this like controversy, you're like, oh shit, I better be sitting down when I see this, and then you watch it, and you're like, oh, is that it? Okay,
Not so much. Not so much.
fair enough. Yeah, Switch. Who's Amazon? Jeff Bezos. Is he still in charge, or has he stepped down?
I don't. He's still cutting checks though for it. He's still making a lot of money out of it.
See, I reckon. See, this is where he focuses on going to space with William Shatner, and suddenly all hell breaks loose.
For shizzle.
But as much as I may complain, I still pad his pocketbook for my Amazon Prime. I'm ashamed for all of that. But damn it, my PS3 needed an American cable because it was British, and I wanted it today. So Amazon
Got
came
it.
in
They
clutch.
got it for you, right? Yeah, man.
came in clutch, and now I can play my PlayStation 3, which is way
That's a
old.
PAL.
It is, but luckily because it's an HDMI cable, I don't think it really matters that much.
Interesting.
And it's Blu-ray.
Well, you
disc,
still have
right?
to have the proper PAL disc to play your PlayStation game.
See, I don't know if I do, because it's Blu-ray, right? So I don't know if Blu-ray had the
It's-
PAL crap.
Blu-ray
So
still
thin.
has the regions.
Interesting. Maybe I'll try it, because I've got a secondhand, like a retro gaming store near me. Maybe I'll go in there and see if there's like a PlayStation 3 game for like a couple of bucks, and I'll test it.
$5. Why not?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to get. I'm just going to be playing Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto 5 that I've completed, so I'm just going to be driving around. That's what I'm going to do. Just ride around my horse,
There you go.
go a bit hunting.
See if there's a game based in New Jersey and go like, oh, that looks just like it. Oh, it's like we're playing, like we're living the game.
A Grand Theft Auto New Jersey edition.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm surprised they haven't done that. That'd be a good money maker. Like downloadable packs where you can like drive around your hometown.
Mhm.
That'd be great. Get it happen, Rockstar.
Rockstar, get on it.
But cut us a part of the check. All we need is like 10%. 10%. It's not bad. It's not bad. All right. So a little bit earlier than normal because we're gonna be talking about Christmas later because it's Christmas this week. Oh, and talk about Christmas. The Waffle Box Christmas special drops Christmas Eve, December 24th. It's not an episode, basically. It's just us, talking about music and introducing music. It is, for legal reasons, exclusive to Spotify because that's where we get our music from. Yada, 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 yada. So if you are listening on Apple Music, I apologize, you won't be able to get it, but just go to Spotify, Jesus. And
Hang out with us for Christmas, guys. Mike, this
yeah.
is a really cool idea, dude, and I'm glad you got us involved in it, and I was happy to be a part of it. Thank you very much.
Welcome, pal. So yeah, we got me, we got Kush Hayes, we got Kelly from Drunk Theory podcast, Alex from Pasta Gravy podcast, we've got Greg Proops. Not only
Proops is involved.
Greg
What?
Proops, Proopsy baby. Not only is he introducing his favorite Christmas song, he also performs a little bit of it, which is pretty cool. Spoiler alert. But yeah,
Wow.
other people involved. It's a really cool thing. So just listen to us talk about music and then have a little boogie. It's Christmas song. So December 24th, Spotify exclusive Waffle Box Christmas special. Check it out. All right, let's move on. So, like I said, a little bit earlier than normal, but it's now time for Kush's movie review. It's where he goes and watches a movie, then he talks about it on the podcast. Kush's movie review. Bam.
I'm disappointed you didn't do the Spider-Man theme. Kush Hayes review. Kush Hayes review. That's all I got right now, man. You put me on the spot.
He reviews whatever he wants.
All right, we'll have to work on that in post. But
yes, Spider-Man.
You picking up what I'm going to?
No Way Home.
Spider-Man No Way Home. It is the third in the Toby.
Wait, sorry. Before you do that, do you reckon they're going to continue the lineage of the type of titles they're doing? Because obviously they did Spider-Man Far From Home, and then Spider-Man No Way Home. Do you think that the next one's going to be Spider-Man Where Are My Keys?
No
and
idea.
Then Spider-Man, oh God, is this even my street? I've had too much to drink. Maybe. I don't know. Because he's getting older now. He's going to end up going out of school. He's going to experience alcohol. Yeah. It's a growing experience. Anyway.
I have no idea where to even begin now.
But yeah, so before anyone turns off, if you haven't watched it already, don't worry. I haven't seen it yet either. So we're going to be talking about it in a non-spoiler way. Because
any details I go to in this review, you will have already seen in the trailer. Okay, so I've only seen one trailer. Excuse me, I've only seen two trailers. So I'm only going to go off of that. Not very hard to do, by the way. So, come on, guys.
But yes, so while you're looking up your notes, so unsurprisingly, this may come to no shock as no one, but Spider-Man did very well in the box office. Apparently, one or two people may have seen this movie this opening weekend.
People saw it. Yeah, $263 million domestically, over $500,000 internationally. This actually got while this was released on Thursday the 16th. Technically out here, it was released 2 days prior out in the Europes and the rest of the world. So, but Spider-Man No Way Home, this is the third movie in the Tom Holland trilogy. That was the name that was escaping me a minute ago. Tom Holland's also been in the last two Avengers movies, as well as Captain America Civil War. That's a total of 6 Spider-Man appearances, and as far as we know, he's done. Now he says he wants to do more. People love him. They want him to do more. And if those two ships can meet in the night, they will. And of course, money. But guess what? I'm going to just start off right ahead and say this isn't even like a 5 out of 5, Mike Fish. This is a special review that I normally reserve for films that I miss when they first come out. Everyone says that's a great movie. And then 3 months later, I see it and go like, that was a great movie. Believe the hype. That is the review I'm giving this. We had been covering the adventures of getting to Spider-Man No Way Home for the last 6 months, probably. We've brought it up a few times with spoiler leaks and did you see that new trailer and what time do tickets go on sale and all that bullshit. And dude, while I didn't understand why we needed all that press, it didn't didn't ruin this movie for me whatsoever. Like, there are obviously surprises that are huge fucking surprises. Spoilers, we ain't gonna talk about that. So
So,
what
okay,
you do
before
know from the trailer is
one quick question
Spider-Man.
I do have.
Mike Fish, I recognize you, Waffle Box Pod.
Hi, it's Mike Fish, Daily Waffle Box. So one question I do have, because I don't want to go into too much because I want to see it and enjoy it. But when you say there are huge surprises, would you say, knowing all the hype leading up to the release, are those big surprises what people were kind of thinking they would be? Or would you say there are, oh, I know you was expecting this, but oh, there's more, if you know what I mean?
I'm gonna say there's just more.
Interesting.
I'm gonna say there's more. At least I felt more. A lot of people have been talking about this movie like it's using all the nostalgia points and the member berries and and I would actually argue that Ghostbusters Afterlife leaned way harder on all that shit. Like, all right, so you got Doc Ock from the Raimi trilogy, you got Jamie Foxx from those two Andrew Garfield films, but that's part of the story. It fits, man. They didn't do it to just like, isn't this cute? Remember this?
It's not nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. It makes sense in the story.
It literally made sense within the story. Like in Ghostbusters Afterlife, when so-and-so opens a glove compartment and a Twinkie falls out, remember this? That's fucking stupid. All right. But, Jamie Foxx fits in this. Dr. Octopus fits in this. And it's really well done. And there's a lot of characters in this, so time is stretched, but this is still Tom Holland's movie. He's navigating the troubles. We start off literally at the end of the previous movie, which I guess was Far From Home, because we've been butchering the names all night. And sure enough, J. Jonah Jameson reveals that, surprise, Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And shit goes crazy, son.
That got revealed at the end of the last Spider-Man movie.
Yes, sir. And we pick up immediately at that point. So if you didn't see Spider-Man Far From Home, sucks to be you. But that shit has already happened.
You should have seen that by now. So sorry, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert there. We start there. And just problems ensue from there. I honestly thought we were going to lean a lot harder into, wow, it's really weird that everybody knows who I am now and da-da-da-da-da. But after about 45 minutes, finally Spider-Man goes like, I should go see my buddy Doctor Strange and see if we can reverse this with some sort of magic spell. And Doctor Strange is into it. A lot of things have changed for Doctor Strange since the events of Avengers Endgame as well. We learn a little bit about that. That's all I'm going to say there. And sorry, to jump in with another question. Mike Fish, Waffle Box Pod, go.
So obviously this is not spoiler if you haven't seen the trailer. Only spoilers we're going to talk about that were available in the trailer. So
in the trailer specific review.
So they obviously reference and mention the multiverse, which has been referenced in prior Marvel things, like on Disney Plus, the Loki show.
It was even referenced in Far From Home.
And then also kind of a little bit dabbled in towards the end of WandaVision and things like that. So again, without revealing anything that's not already out there for those who haven't seen the movie yet, but just out of interest, do they stick within the Spider-Man universe, I guess, or do they kind of hint towards things that might have happened in like Loki and WandaVision? Or
no, negative.
Okay.
We only focus on Spider-Man centric themes in this movie here.
Okay.
Benedict Cumberbatch, by the way, since we're only talking about the trailers, all the scenes you see him in those trailers is all the scenes he is in this movie. He is maybe 15 minutes out of this 2-hour 20-minute saga, but he's fine. He's okay. He serves the purpose that he's intended to serve. Did They get very specific about this spell. It is worded word for word. So at first, Doctor Strange is like, everybody gonna forget Peter Parker as Spider-Man. And he went, wait, Aunt May. And went, everybody but Aunt May. And then, Zendaya. Everybody but Zendaya. And so he keeps changing the spell enough that finally it fucks up. And sure enough, you get Jamie Foxx and you get Dr. Octopus. All right. But the spell, the one plot hole I have, and there many people have many plot holes, but the only one that stuck out for me is even when Spider-Man gets everybody to forget who he is, with aside of those names, like there's still video archive of J. Jonah Jameson going, Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Rah, he's a menace. There's numerous selfies already. Like Zendaya has already got all of her photos with him. Like that was the only plot hole I had in this. Otherwise, I rolled with it the entire time. Had a great time. Everyone there serves their part. Zendaya, she's way better than this series even deserves to have. Like she's A+ for her all the way around. The guy who plays Ned, his name is that dude. Jacob Batalon. I look forward to seeing more stuff with him.
That's just Spider-Man's best friend, right?
Ned.
Yeah, he's very good in these. He's very good.
He's great in this, and I look forward to seeing more, not just from.
Does Zendaya get more of a thing in this? Because I know generally in the past, but she's obviously she's a main character, but she's also just from on-screen time. I guess she's kind of almost like a side character. So she's more into this one.
She's still a supporting character, but yeah, she's definitely a driving force.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise,
do we not get an appearance? Because I know they showed in the trailer the character that he plays, but do we get a actual facial full sighting of William Dafoe? Is he in this, or is it just the character he plays?
No,
if you know what I mean.
William Dafoe's in this.
Okay.
And yeah, get over it, guys. Yeah, that wasn't in the trailer, but he's there.
Well, the character that he plays, the green whatever it is, was in the trailer.
They could have
CGI'd the hell out of that.
Yeah. So, I think we've talked about enough. Like again, the spell goes out of whack. Bad guys come in. Tom Holland has to save the day. Zendaya and Ned are in trouble. Aunt May happy. It's all your favorites are there. It's Peter Parker suffers in this movie, and they make sure you get to experience all of his fucking grief, and it's well done, dude. It was a lot of fun. The crowd I was with had a great time. You can check out this Friday's Microdose number 98, where I tell Robin Seto all about my Spider-Man experience. I don't give her a review of the movie. I tell about everything that happened leading up to it and throughout the trailer, including crowd interactions. But this is a fantastic film. Believe the hype. Go out and see it. I don't think you need to see this in the theater, but you'll enjoy it just as much at home when it comes out in 45 days.
It is interesting. This is like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying, again, just from other people's reaction, I'm not saying this is like the best, maybe it is the best Marvel movie that's come out so far, but it's incredible to see that just generally, whenever you get a movie that has this much hype,
it can only disappoint.
Yeah, even at best, you'll get people like, oh no, that was very good. But there's always that little ounce of it wasn't, you know what I mean? Whereas I've seen a lot of people who were overly hyped for this movie, but still it's almost they've been blown away almost in a way that they didn't expect, if that makes sense. They're like, oh, okay. This is actually an amazing movie.
I was expecting to be irritated walking out, and I walked out just feeling great, dude. Despite some tragedy we just witnessed, like I was like, man, like yeah. I feel like I can conquer the world right now, man. Go fucking Spider-Man. All right. Does this replace my favorite movie? I don't know. But shit, I had a good fucking time. So
I'm actually impressed.
I definitely want to see it again in the theater. I even want to see it again in 3D. I just watched it in regular old 2D and was happy with that.
Don't waste time. It's in a 3D movie now. I'm not.
The Doctor Strange scenes will make it worth it, I think.
But I'm actually impressed by the length. That's what she said. Because you'd have thought for this, again, the type of movie this is based on what you're seeing in the trailer. You'd have thought this would have been Marvel's. Like Marvel would have taken carte blanche and be like, "This is going to be a 3-hour movie."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually
there's probably a 3-hour cut of it.
Oh, sure. So this could be. I'm actually quite impressed that they kept it, which is strange saying that, but it's like I'm impressed they kept it as short as 2 hours and 20 minutes, but
or 2.5 hours or whatever. But it's your average Marvel Cinematic Universe length. So, but I had a great time. It's I didn't feel any like I wanted more. I left the theater wanting more.
That's good. That was gonna be our last question. Where I was gonna be, because sometimes, even though I love all Marvel movies, there have been a couple where I have been like, "Oh, is that it? Wrapping up now? Wrapping up? Oh, there's still another hour to go. Oh, okay. Well, what's going on now?" Like, whereas, so this is like you're at the end. You're kind of like, "Oh, is that it?"
Mm-hmm. Like while I enjoyed Eternals, I felt it needed all 2 hours and 30 minutes of it, but I also felt all 2 hours and 30 minutes. So I was just like, all right, I guess we're gonna talk about this now. Okay, all right, yeah. Shang-Chi is like, all right, I don't know why we're talking English now, but all right, I guess we're gonna be doing this for another.
Yeah, Shang-Chi was a little bit guilty of that. It's a great movie, but there was times like, oh, okay, we carrying on. We're still going. Okay. Oh, but so this doesn't kind of almost register in your out of 5 scale. It's almost like its own thing now.
Believe the hype.
This
gets again. I've that review's only been given out to movies like Split, and again, this was something I didn't see right away. Like everyone was going crazy about Split, and then I ended up seeing it on a plane, like maybe a year later. It was like, holy shit, that was amazing. Like I was riveted the entire time. I was like, oh fuck, I wish I had seen this in the theater. Disney's The Jungle Book. Believe the hype. Like the
live action version.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that
would be something I wouldn't even get to see in theaters. I was like, damn, I wish I had saw this in the theater. Fuck. So yeah, it's usually very specific. Like there has to be a delay in between when it was released and when I finally saw it. But this was worth it, dude. This was worth all the hype going into it. I think the Marvel fanboys are still a bunch of fanboys, but this should have served them well. This should have appeased them until Morbius in 3 weeks.
So before we move on, this is another question, not related to Spider-Man though. Where do you land in that kind of debate about, because I know people that get almost like offended the fact that I would dare watch a movie for the first time on a plane.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
Okay.
I watch a movie when I watch a movie.
Because obviously I appreciate where they're coming from. Where it's like it's a small screen, it's not beautiful HD and blah 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 blah.
Go fuck yourself, dude. I'm up in the air for 10 hours. I need to watch something.
Exactly. Because if I'm watching a movie that I've watched 5 times before, I get bored and I blah blah blah. Whereas if I'm stuck here in this metal tube for 8 hours, I want my time to pass quickly. So I want to be gripped and riveted by something I haven't seen before. So I'm very much into watching movies for the
side tangent about movies on airplanes. So in the year 2000,
does this involve Samuel Jackson and some snakes?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I had to think about that for a second. No. In the year 2000, I made my first trip out to New York to visit a friend of mine. This is pre 9/11. However, the day I did land in New York, DMX tried to convince people at JFK that he was an FBI official and thus got arrested like 3 hours before I landed. So that's always an interesting asterisk there. However, JetBlue, which is a brand new company at that time, they bought a bunch of old aircraft, they refurbished them. They were like, hey, let's put movies in the headrests of these seats and let people enjoy things. And they only had 4 options. Okay, I forget what they. So here's what's up. There was supposed to be a kids movie, but it was a red eye flight, so there was no kids movie. The Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is a weird selection since there's allegedly going to be kids movies in this. There was something else I couldn't fucking access, and then there was The Princess Bride. So for 6 hours going east, I watched The Princess Bride. All right, and that was my.
What? You didn't choose Rocky Horror?
Go fuck the Rocky Horror, dude.
What?
No, we're not watching Rocky Horror anytime.
But I remember back in the day when, and I mean, you'll remember this because we're about the same age.
Roughly, a couple years.
But when you want to watch a movie on the plane, it was like, this is the movie we're playing. We're starting it now. If you miss the start, sucks to be you. And then you'd have to wait. If you miss it, you have to wait to the end because then it will start again.
Kids in the late 90s, it's the late 90s. DVDs are a thing, but they are rocking a very specific VHS cassette that is exclusively made for that airplane. You can't play it on a regular VHS cassette in your home. This is branded especially for the airlines. And it goes in the overhead compartment, and there's a little turbulence, and one of the heads breaks. That's your ass. But you would look in the catalog, and you'd be like, oh shit, yo, we're going to get to watch Shrek 2. And then the stewardess has already seen Shrek 2 500 times because that's her job. And she goes, we'll be watching 13 going on 30. And then I go, boo. And then my girlfriend punches me in the arm, and we make our plane trip to Florida. But that's what you had. Like, you would get one movie, and if the projector was all fucked up, or you couldn't see over the headrest, that's your ass. You better have a Discman or a Walkman or several thick magazines, if not a book.
Yeah, sometimes that was brutal.
Air travel was awful back in the day. Like it's there's a lot less room now, but it was way worse back then, honestly.
All right, let's move on. Speaking of movies, it's Christmas time. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
So, full disclosure, Mike, in all spirit of being honest, I hope this isn't just to further the joke that Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Spoiler alert, Die Hard's in my top 5, but no, this isn't. I'm not going to go on a tirade of arguing why. If you don't think Die Hard's a Christmas movie, that's fine. That's your life choice, but it is. I don't care. But no, this is just whatever. Anyway. If anything, there's going to be one on here that I'm going to fight for even more. I think gets underlooked by some of the critics, I believe. Mm-hmm. But there you go. But it's not. Anyway. So what we got? We both got our top 5. We're going to alternate. We're going to go. I'm going to 5, 5, 4, 4, 4, 5. So as I'm a gentleman,
in further full disclosure, I really only have a top 3. Now I'm going to talk about 5 movies, but those last 2 are just kind of like. I panicked. I don't hate these, and I have seen them. So that's where I'm going with. So
okay.
You'll have to excuse me. It's not that I hate Christmas movies. They're not my thing.
All right. Well, in that case, let's start off with you then. What's your number 5?
My number 5. I'm going to go with Elf. Will Ferrell's Elf. No, it's a fantastic movie. It is absolutely without debate a Christmas film. It talks about the spirit of Christmas, and it's just a lot of fun. There's definitely nostalgia points in there before that was a thing, at least for something like this. And like it was something I didn't want to like, but I was just like, yo, man, this thing is entertaining. Okay, that final 15 minutes, we got to talk about Christmas for sure. But that's the whole point of the film, and it's a good time, and I'm happy to see it becoming more and more of a tradition.
It is because it's a big tradition in my house. That's where we get the Christmas tree. and we put the tree up. And then when we're decorating the tree, while we're decorating the tree, we put Elf on. We watch Elf while we decorate our Christmas tree. That's our tradition.
Nice.
Yeah. And also, I love a fun fact about that movie. Old Mary Steenburgen, who plays the wife of Buddy's dad.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
she,
James Caan.
in this movie, she plays James Caan's wife. So in this movie, she is Will Ferrell's stepmother.
True.
But she then also plays his actual mother in the movie Step Brothers, which is kind of a fun.
You should submit that to IMDb if it isn't already there.
I'm sure, but if it's not, I'm going to create a Waffle Box.
You should, yeah, and then you should say like, as noted on the episode on the Christmas episode of Waffle Box, Mary Steenburgen was and everything you just said right there.
No citation link to this video.
Yes, it's pretty simple. If it isn't already on there, dude, you can get it on there. I'm telling you.
I'll be checking later. All right, my number five is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. What a classic. Because that is like one of those movies that is pretty much always going 5 miles a minute. Like it's just always you look where you miss something. Obviously starring and the cast, my God, it's Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, Rennie Quaid, who was the crazy redneck guy from Independence Day.
Slightly sane at this time in life.
Yeah, he wasn't kamikazing into alien ships that he did later in life.
He wasn't on the run from United States federal agents while hiding out in Canada.
That too. Bless him. He went down a little bit. But also a fun addition. I didn't until I was doing a little bit of research. Let's talk about this. Stars a very young Johnny Galecki from Big Bang Theory. I didn't know.
And
Juliette Lewis.
Juliette Lewis, but also Julia Louise-Dreyfus is in it.
It's like a hell of a cast. And there's more to it. I think
cast. It's way higher on my list. So if you want to take a pause on this, we can
circle back to this. All right, then I'll move on from that then. So I'll save a little bit for the later on. So okay, number 4. You're number 4, Kush.
Number 4. While it doesn't actually mention anything about Christmas, look, dude, I wanted to put Die Hard on here. I wanted to put Lethal Weapon on here. I wanted to put a bunch of other movies like Trading Places, but that's more of a New Year's Eve movie. But even that is just circumstantial. It's still circumstantial. So, however, I'm going to put Gremlins, the original Gremlins, on this. It's still a delightful, it's Steven Spielberg, Gizmo, Stripe, like this. It's a horror movie. It's a comedy. It's puppets. It's there's a lot of good stuff in this.
It is a good movie. Like I said on off air when we was discussing this, and I was saying I had like a top 7. I had to create down to a top 5. Gremlins was always in my top 7.
I'm kind of jealous that you had more than 5, man. Like I really struggled with this. Like this did take up most of my weekend. I was like, there has to be a Christmas movie I'm not thinking about. Like I've been watching Christmas movies on my beautiful 4K TV here. Like Harold and Kumar's Christmas, not a good movie at all. Even despite what I forgot about it, what I remember about it, etc., that wouldn't even touch my top 25 if I could put that together.
But yeah, I've got a 4K TV, which is nice.
4K TVs are pretty great.
How big is it? What's the inches?
I want to say this was 37. I wanted it to be 34 and was thankful to get 37. But like we're literally like holding on to the walls here. If this was a 42-inch TV, I would have to find a new platform to put it on.
That makes sense.
I
mean, I have like in my front, I have like I think it's like a 50-something inch TV. But sometimes bigger isn't better because it's all to do with the space you have. Like in here, in my little room.
And with the space I have, I'm about 7 feet away from the screen. So.
Right, yeah. So my little office here that I'm broadcasting from, I have I actually don't know, but it's around like 30 something, but it's perfect for the size because I'm not that far away from the TV. You don't need a big, otherwise you hurt your neck. Anyway, yes, Gremlins, you're number 4. Anything you want to add to that, or he's happy with that?
I'm Hail Marrying that. Like,
Hail
again,
Mary.
my strongest work is my top 3.
Sounds good. All right, my number 4, maybe some controversy here. My number 4 is Home Alone.
No controversy. I get why you put that on there. I almost put that on my list.
I know, but I think a lot of people put that as like their number 1. So maybe number 4 is controversy.
No, it's what I would consider a Christmas movie because it is about Christmas. You know, the family is going to Paris for Christmas. Oh no, we forgot about Kevin. We have to get back to him before Christmas so that we can make sure that he's not getting molested by Joe Pesci or whatever the case is happening there.
You don't want that.
Yeah, Home Alone is absolutely a Christmas movie. It's a good Christmas movie. I even have an entertaining story about it, but that's for another Waffle Box down low round.
Well, yeah, I was amazed. Like, if you just look back on it from like modern eyes, I guess, just how like the all-star cast. Really, if you think like, because you also get Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci,
Daniel Stern,
John Hurd, Catherine O'Hara, who's mostly blown up recently because obviously she was in Schitt's Creek. But my personal favorite performance of hers was in Beetlejuice. I loved her in Beetlejuice.
Okay, dope.
But then also John Candy makes his little cameo in there. It's got an amazing stuff. Also, one thing I didn't. Speaking of your number 4, directed by Chris Columbus, not the guy, not who you think, but Chris Columbus, who also directed Gremlins. Oh no, he wrote Gremlins. Sorry, he wrote Gremlins.
Still counts. He knows that he was the first Shane Black before Shane Black, Mike Fish.
And more modern people, if you don't know this guy, he went to direct 2 Harry Potter movies as well.
Yeah, I knew that.
I think the 3rd and the 4th one.
No, 1 and 2.
Oh, was it 1 and 2?
Yep.
No, whatever. Good for him. And Mrs. Doubtfire.
Great movie.
But yes, everyone. I'm not going to go into it more. Everyone knows Home Alone, but that's my number 4. Okay, now we're getting to the meat and gravy. Cliches, number 3 on your top 5 Christmas movies.
Like, I wish I was giving you like I wish I could give you like it's everything's by a nose here. Everything's by like tenths of a point. But number 3, I'm just gonna say it: Scrooged with Bill Murray. Like I don't think people watch this movie.
Wait,
Zoinks!
Before we discuss this, I might as well just get it my way. My number 3 is Scrooged.
What? Ah!
High 5. What a movie!
Great goddamn movie.
So good. This is my one where it's like, even though it's my number 3, I still think this needs to get way more respect than it does. This movie.
It needs to get way more respect than it does. I believe it was Richard Donner who did Lethal Weapon and Superman and all,
do you want to see in my notes where it's put directed by Richard Donner, also directed The Omen, Superman 1978 version, and then Lethal Weapon 1 through 4, and also apparently told Mel Gibson to carry on his legacy after he passed.
We talked about that a few Waffle Boxes about.
Previous podcast. Check it out.
Yeah. This is a great movie. It's an adaptation of Charles Dickens' Christmas Story. If I like, do you know how many times A Christmas Story, several versions, multiple versions, all the versions of A Christmas Story came up while I was trying to look this up?
Goddamn same.
I was just like, God. So if I have to pick one, this is the best one. It's a lot of fun. It's very sweet. It's scary. It's sentimental. That the speech Bill Murray makes at the end still gives me goosebumps on my forearms here. Where
Absolutely.
I'm just like, all right.
Oh, and then when
I'm into Christmas right now, and every year that I forget to watch it, and it's usually like December 26th, I'm a little bit sadder for it.
But even like it's so amazingly done, especially the end scene. where Bill Murray does that passionate speech to the camera, and because he's getting emotional, you're getting emotional, but it's built up so well. And this is like I love when movies do this, where because sometimes you can tell, which is so obvious, what's the word? But they're blatantly telling you something that's going to come up later. What's the word?
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. Whereas this one, it just leaves little breadcrumbs all the way at the end. So once he delivers that emotional speech, and then the little kid who is this version's little Timmy does that, speaks for the
you
first
guys call
time.
him Little Timmy and not Tiny Tim?
Oh, maybe it's Tiny Tim. Maybe whatever. Little Timmy. I'm gonna keep going with that.
Go with Little Timmy.
Little
please.
Timmy. But when he speaks for the first time and does the whole "God bless us, everyone," it's one. It's like, oh, it gives you shivers. It's like, it's very well done. It's such, bro. I think it's because it could be classed as a comedy. That's why I think a lot of people don't take it as seriously as they should. But it's an amazing movie. So good.
Despite the resurgence of popularity that Bill Murray has in today's age, it's amazing that this movie doesn't come up more as my number one will reveal. And you'd be like, yeah, like you might have wanted to switch 1 and 3, Kush, honestly, but we'll get into that in a minute here. So we both did number 3 here. We both got Scrooge for number 3.
What's your number?
My number 2 is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I'm very offended at you, Mike, for only putting it at number 5. And maybe that's a cultural thing. But at this point, we've been with the Griswolds for 3 movies now. And despite the fact that the kids change, Beverly D'Angelo is still beautiful. And the whole thing is about Clark Griswold, who has proven himself time after time after time to be just a functioning boob.
But speaking of the connection, isn't what is his name?
I see your question.
Yes, no. Isn't one of Bill Murray's brothers in this? Is it Brian?
Brian Doyle Murray.
Because
he's Chevy Chase's boss at the end,
right? And because he was also in,
he's in most of Bill Murray's movies.
Yeah, I remember him in. He was like the mayor in
Groundhog
Day. Yes, sorry. Yes, anyway, carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, man. It's a fantastic film. It for every instance that Clark Griswold has proven himself to be a boob, he is only trying to give his family the best Christmas ever here, and he's feeling the nostalgia from previous Christmases. He only wants this to be the best, 10 times better than anything he's ever experienced, and just he hits obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. Like, he's already invited problems into his house, not only with his mom and dad, but his wife's mom and dad, the in-laws, and both of those folks don't get along already. But then fucking Cousin Eddie, who is from the original National Lampoon's Vacation, comes in and only makes things worse. And it's a great goddamn movie. Again, it's also on that list of I'm upset that every time December 26th comes around, I go, oh, I should have watched that yesterday. I didn't.
This is another one that also, similarly to Scrooge, where I was talking about the breadcrumbs. This is like a great storytelling, where, like you're saying, the main part of the story is all he wants is to provide a fantastic Christmas, and everything's going wrong, and yada 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 yada. Mm-hmm. But then it almost like kicks into an extra gear when the kind of subtle story that's been passed along, where he's looking forward to his Christmas bonus so he can get the pool next summer. Mm-hmm. And then he finds out he's not getting it. And then it's almost like the movie suddenly jumps into the next gear, and it's like, oh, that's the thing that's going on, rather than this wacky Christmas is not working out. And then it just goes way off from where he just goes, and he gets kidnapped because I guess he asked to be kidnapped, but the guy takes it too serious. Blah, 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 blah.
Well, he's being very over emotional because he found out his Christmas bonus, and instead of United States dollars, like he has been privileged to the past 15 years, this year it's a 1 year subscription to the Jelly of the Month Club. And yeah, he should be very upset about that. In 1990, we were financially okay, folks. We weren't great, but we weren't hemorrhaging cash like we are today, and it would have been okay to give your executives cash instead of something tacky like Jelly of the Month Club. So, but Cousin Eddie,
does that even exist? I love the fact that I hope it doesn't, because I hope they designed that for this movie, because it's a great shitty gift.
I doubt that's a brand exclusive thing, but I'm 100% sure several of those exist.
Jelly of the Month.
Mm-hmm.
Whoop, whoop. All right. Anything else you want to add to that one?
Nah, man. Go check out National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It's fucking dope. It holds up still. Forget my fucking sentimental feelings about it. It's a good movie.
We'll quickly run through my number 2, because my number 2 is Elf. We've always spoke about that. Again, it's number 2 for me. And this is the thing about Christmas movies.
Wow, what a weird coincidence, right?
All right. But I think this is the thing about Christmas movies, as maybe as old-fashioned and maybe as sentimental as I am. For some reason, I mean, all movies do this to a particular degree, but something about Christmas movies, it's not necessarily just about the movie itself and how good it is, but it's also the connection you have with certain things, you know. Like, so I think Elf is don't get me wrong, Elf is a fantastic movie, but I think it goes to number 2 because of the tradition it holds now within my family that I have now. It just brings back special. It's like, this is where we get together as a family, and we build. But yes, it's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Amazing Will Ferrell performance.
Great goddamn movie. Jon Favreau, I think it was his
sophomore
film,
his second director.
After Swingers.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Like,
and then he went on to do a thing. Iron Man 2, Mandalorian.
Well, like, Swingers already put him on the map, all right, and then
I think this made it better, but yes.
No, this put him on a higher platform, but like people already knew who he was because of Swingers, but like he specifically I want to do a Christmas movie. I want to make it a Christmas tradition. This dude Will Ferrell is fucking funny, and this whole thing is going to work. We're going to get in the tribute to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer with the claymation. It's going to work. You're going to love it. Mike Fish clearly loves it. I like it a lot. I've only seen it once, and that's how strong I think it is.
But fun fact, did you ever watch it's on Netflix, the series called Movies That Made Us?
Yeah, we've talked about that.
And they did the one about
I
Elf.
have not seen that episode, though, since you asked.
Oh, okay. Because there is a scene. So do you remember in that, it's like a passing scene, but in the movie where Will Ferrell is with his dad. What's his name?
James Caan.
Where they have like the tickle fight.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently that was.
Yes, I do.
If I remember correctly from the documentary, that scene was ad-libbed because James Caan at the time was obviously like a very serious actor.
James Caan's a hard ass.
Yeah, so apparently that was Will Ferrell was like just fucking around with him. Hey, tickle fight. And James Caan was like, fuck, get the fuck off. And they kept it in the movie.
James Caan's a great fucking actor, but at no point do I ever want to be in the same room with him. Not today, not in the 1970s, and not when they made Elf.
I think they even referenced that in the documentary.
He's going to bring your day down.
He's a very difficult person to be around. I think they mentioned that in the documentary. Man. Not fun. All right, well, drum roll, please. Kush Hayes' number 1 Christmas movie is
A Christmas Story, which is probably super stereotypical, but it's the Christmas movie. Like, look, guys, I was too young to appreciate, It's a Wonderful Life and movies like that. That wasn't my thing. But A Christmas Story while being a blockbuster bomb, like it came and went in the theaters. Nobody saw it. And then I would end up seeing it like around the holidays when no one was paying attention to how late it was and if I was asleep or not. And this would be on our local KTVU, which wasn't even a Fox affiliate yet. And this would be on at like 11 o'clock at night or 1 in the morning. And, maybe 2 years after it had first come out. And this thing would always be on. And finally, about 20 years later, it would become a tradition because everybody would have finally seen it. But it encompasses everything about being a kid at Christmas, all the anxiety, like, I need this present. My life is not complete without the Red Ryder BB gun with the compass in the stock. All right. Yeah, it's a fantastic film. Was that even a thing in your day, Mike, or your country growing up?
Probably. A Wonderful Life, that rings a bell, but not super
A
familiar with
Christmas story? Fascinating.
Maybe I'll have to check
You're
it.
gonna shoot your eye out. The whole thing is he wants a BB gun. His favorite radio superhero has a BB gun. It's a rifle. He shoots all the bad guys with it. And that's what he needs. Ralphie needs this BB rifle to complete his life. And every time he brings it up, someone's like, "You're gonna shoot your eye out, kid." And then finally, spoiler alert, Dad gets him the goddamn red rifle BB gun.
What are you doing,
and
Dad?
He goes out in the backyard, finds a generic target. It's made of aluminum or probably tin back in those days, since this is around World War II.
Lead, asbestos.
BB shoots out, fires back, brackets, and shoots him in the eye. And it's only because he wears glasses that his eye didn't get shot out. But like, oh my God, like, I shot my eye out, and it's a whole thing. But it's a beautiful build-up. It's a fantastic movie. It is. I've seen it so many times now that it is actually the movie that I would go like on December 26th. I'm not upset that I didn't see that movie. I've seen it that many times, but that's how strong it is.
My number one is Die Hard. It's great. It's my favorite Christmas movie of all time. I love it. I'm sorry. And it's like I say, I'm not going to get into it because, hey, if you do not believe Die Hard is a Christmas movie, please tweet me at Mr. Mike Fish with your criteria of what a Christmas movie is, and I will tell you why Die Hard ticks every one of those boxes. It's a fantastic Christmas movie. Fantastic cast. Bruce Willis in his first role that wasn't a comedy / soap opera type.
It was like his third or fourth movie, but like he because of moonlighting, like he ended up. And no, they couldn't sign anybody to this film. He ended up getting like $3 million more than his agent.
Yeah,
was
I think he was
expecting.
like third or fourth choice. I think at this point, but
and they couldn't get any of those guys. And they're like, "You're running out of choices, but you need somebody." So we were gonna ask for 3, but now we're gonna ask for 7, and you're gonna pay it. And they went, "We're gonna pay it," and it was just like, it was amazing.
But great cast. Alan Rickman,
For sure.
Rest his soul. As Hans Gruber, Huey Lewis is always great when he cameos in the movies. But then I actually, again, in my notes, have you ever done this where you write notes for a podcast that you're doing, but then you do it in advance, and so sometimes you kind of forget what you wrote down. So when you read your own notes, you kind of make yourself laugh. Have you ever done that?
That has not happened, but
Whereas past me is funny. But
I've made jokes on podcasts that I've gone back and edited and then still cracked myself up at, and that's probably worse than what you're talking about.
Because I wrote down here, Die Hard, directed by John McTiernan, famous for Predator, Hunt for Red October, Last Action Hero, and Pleading Guilty for Perjury.
That's a funny joke.
I know. I was proud of myself. I didn't remember doing that, but good on me. And obviously, Bunny Bedelia who plays Holly Gennaro McLean. It's a great Christmas. I'm sorry, it's a great Christmas movie. The crux, people do think yes, it's too violent, but then I would argue, and those people that generally think Die Hard is too violent to be a Christmas movie, then say they love Home Alone, which Home Alone is pretty
it's not
violent.
The violence, dude. It's the fact that it's just it's circumstantial. He happens to be at a Christmas party. It doesn't make it a Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas movie because he is reconnecting with family. It's a family being reunited for Christmas.
Circumstantial.
Beautiful Christmas movie.
It's a terrorist event that just happens to take place on Christmas Eve. It's not a Christmas movie. At no point.
Okay. Home Alone.
No. When Bruce Willis and Detective Al Powell are Reginald Vell Johnson are talking on the CB and they're getting to know each other and they're bonding. At no point are they like, yeah, man, I just wanted to come out and I needed to re-explore what the true meaning of Christmas was. No, they talk about like, yo, I shot a kid because he had a ray gun. It looked like a real fucking gun, and I shot that kid to death. I killed him, yo. I killed him dead. Okay, now how are we going to solve these terrorists, John McClane? Those are the scenes we get.
We've opened this can of worms. So since you're saying this is I like this as a Christmas movie as well. But if we're talking about circumstantial. Okay, what makes Gremlins? What makes Gremlins more of a Christmas movie than Die Hard?
Nothing, because it was my Hail Mary, which I gave you the disclaimer on way early in this episode.
Whatever. Anyway, we said we wasn't going to do this.
I had a top three, Mike.
We said we wasn't going to do this.
And I told you that in advance.
But yeah, same thing with Elf. Another thing that makes Die Hard my favorite Christmas movie is, again, the tradition. I think that's back in the day when I used to live in England. So my Christmas Day tradition was literally I would wake up in the morning, open my presents with my family. And when I say when I was younger, I was like in my early 20s. So I'd like wake up, open my Christmas presents, and then I would go back to bed because I was late teens, early 20s. So I went back to bed and then wake up, have Christmas dinner with my parents. And then around 5 o'clock, I would leave my house, go to my friend Tom's house, meet up with my friend Mark. So the three of us would just sit in his bedroom and we'd watch Die Hard, and then we'd watch the latest Jeremy Clarkson / Top Gear DVD, and we would just get absolutely wasted. But we'd always start off with Die Hard every year, Christmas Day tradition. So it brings back fond memories. But yes, I would argue, I will fight anyone who says Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. But that's just me.
I'm gonna suplex the shit out of you then, skinny boy.
Bring it on.
I'm not trying to take away your tradition. I'm not trying to take away your nostalgia or your memories. I'm just saying, like, based on
you could argue that for anything, like Home Alone is a Christmas movie because it's circumstantial.
No, Home Alone is a Christmas movie because he is having a Christmas wish.
My God!
The family is preparing for Christmas. He misses his family at Christmas. The old man reflects upon, like, I used to have a daughter and I gave her Christmas presents. Like, Christmas is everywhere in that. Die Hard is just
Holly Gennaro has a conflict of it, and she's like, "Oh my God, it's Christmas. I love my husband. I'm now going to be Holly McLean again. It's Christmas. It's beautiful. It's about family getting back together."
She's all about being a Gennaro through. Oh, she is spiteful going into this movie.
Anyway,
it only takes
that's a
Bruce
whole
Willis
episode,
saving her life.
We could do a whole episode on why the characters in Die Hard are
We should
horrible.
totally do a Cushion Kai on Die Hard, and you should absolutely be a guest. And I'm
totally down.
I'm pretty sure we can make that happen.
And then the last dialogue spoken in the movie is, "If this is what they do for Christmas, I gotta be here for New Year." So Christmas, and then dun, 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 it's the most wonderful time of the year. It's a Christmas movie. I will fight you. But yeah, there's that top 5. Fun little disagreement there, but whatever. So for me, just to wrap it up, my number 5, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Number 4, Home Alone. Number 3, Scrooge. Number 2, Elf. Number 1, Die Hard. And then Mr. Cush. Number 5, Elf. Number 4, Gremlins. 3, Scrooge. 2 National Lampoon, Christmas Vacation, and 1 A Christmas Story. I think we could all argue those are 2 fantastic lists. And if you haven't seen any of those movies, you should check them out.
I think we missed our number 3s were both Scrooged.
They were both number 3 Scrooge. It's very good.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the same wavelength. It's only taken us 29
Almost
episodes, but we are on it. Is this 20? It is 29. 29 episodes.
29.
next
There's
week,
290 more of them.
Next week, last of 2021, and then 2022, where we'd officially technically been doing this for 2 years. 2021, 2022. It's a life hack.
Okay.
We've been doing this for 2
Life
years.
hacks. Yeah.
It's all about the promotion.
But okay.
Right. That's it. If you listen to
do we
this,
want to talk about The Matrix Part 4, or do we want to talk about the Kurt Warner movie next week?
Oh, so I thought you said now. I was like, no, I'm ready to go to bed. Oh, you know what? If it wouldn't mind you, that doesn't make any sense, but you know what I mean. Because of the things that are going on in the world, and I have other people in my household to look after, I'm probably not going to be going to a movie theater anytime soon. So what I would suggest, if we can talk about anything, because I'm very much interested in talking about the Matrix.
Well, Matrix is going to be on HBO Max.
Exactly. So if we can talk about something else, and then once HBO Max gets the new Matrix movie, I'll watch the shit out of that, and then we can talk about that for
today
ages.
As we drop this episode. The new Matrix movie comes out the day we drop this episode.
What, on HBO Max?
Yes, sir.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Oh shit! Then let's talk about that next week.
Okay.
For some reason, I thought it came out like in like a month. For some reason, on HBO.
comes out today. On
Same time as
HBO
theaters.
Max. It's also
Look
in
at that.
theaters.
Okay.
It's also in theater. Well, in the United States, which we are both in.
We are America. Fuck yeah,
America. Fuck yeah. So I'm gonna watch it on HBO Max because I don't need to see it in the theater. It's gonna
Let's
be
do
fun.
it. Let's talk the shit out of Matrix next week.
There it is, folks. Next week we're gonna talk about Matrix Part 4.
And this is going to be one of those rare episodes of Waffle Box where Kush is going to review a movie that I've watched as well. So this is exciting.
Excellent.
Definitely tune in for that. So yes, that's coming up next week, and anything else that comes into mind. Maybe we'll talk about New Year's resolutions because they're topical and whatever. But in the meantime, what have we got to look forward to between now and the next week coming up? I know you kind of
just said Matrix Part 4.
Sprinkled it. No, not next week. Not next week on here, but your other shows. Bosnet. What's going on in the Bosnet in the next 7 days?
Oh, on the Bosnet in the next 7 days. So we got Microdose number 98 coming out. Robin Seto makes her return to the Microdose. We talk about the last couple months. We talk about my experience at Spider-Man No Way Home. Not the movie itself, but my experience within the theater. It's a little crazy, guys. Like,
when does that drop?
I collect these stories. You're going to listen to this. It's happening. Otherwise, Kick-Ass Movie Podcast number 6, season finale, comes out December 29th. I brought in Kai from Kush and Kai. I brought in Pro Wrestling Hall of Famer Jameel Hemphill from Sweet Science Cinema. We're going to talk about Best of the Best with director Master Len Kapuzinski. That's happening December 29th. And that's going to be our big New Year's Eve special.
So that episode drops
next Wednesday.
Okay.
A week from today.
Which is next week's episode as well. So you get double those. And when does the Microdose come out?
Microdose every Friday. Every Friday, Microdose.
So this Friday, people can look forward to listening.
In 2 days, Microdose 98. In 9 days, Microdose 99.
I will definitely be checking that out. So I'll be definitely interested in hearing about your experience in the theater. That'll be.
Oh, please do. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It gets dramatic.
Okay, but yes. In the meantime, if you've been watching this episode, you may have noticed I'm wearing this incredibly sexy shirt. Ba, ba, ba. Wafflebox merch. Go to wafflemerch.com if you want to buy this t-shirt. Lovely designed by a good friend of mine, Emma. If you want to buy her cool stuff, because she does her own stuff. She's got like car fresheners and other stuff. I really should have researched before I did this plug. But yeah, go to littlemshop.com. There's some really cool homemade design shit that she does. It's super cool. littlemshop.com. Her fiance hosts a podcast with me, Clara and Big Blue. If you ever want to listen to me talk about sports, you can check that out live every Tuesday at cbbpod.com. Live every Tuesday at 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central. But yeah, so check that out, wafflemerch.com. If you want to listen to, if you're watching this and you want to listen to on demand, go to enjoywafflebox.com. You can check out all the online. We're going on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, all that good stuff. If you are listening to us and you want to watch us, go to YouTube and hit that subscribe button. You can watch our pretty faces, which I have, because I have, like, I don't know what it is. I can't stop working. I have redesigned our overlays. So this is our last time you're going to see our Christmas overlays. We've got a new one launching technically for 2022, but it's going to be coming out in this 29th episode, December 29th episode. Check that out, and you're going to see our really cool little bobbleheads that we've got designed as well. All that good stuff. Any final words? Do you know what? Actually, I do have it. Kush, do want to say,
break it down, Mike.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, buddy. I want to thank you. I know we're not ending this year yet, but thanks for joining me on this journey. 29 episodes. Who would have thought it already? It felt like yesterday we started it. So thank you, buddy, for joining me. It's been a lot of fun. I feel we're getting better. We're getting closer together. We're getting more in sync. And I feel every episode is better than the next. And I appreciate and I enjoy and look forward to every Waffle Box that we do together. So thank you, buddy.
My fish, I thank you in return, man. Not only for you having me on the Waffle Box, but allowing me to bring my own sprinkle into this. But I think it's our combination. It's our chemistry that is making this a completely different thing than what we do at the Bosnet.family. So it's great to be doing something outside of the box. I love that you brought us together, and I can't thank you enough. Folks, if you're the praying type, there are folks within the Bosnet family tonight that actually absolutely need those prayers. I don't know what I can say tonight, but I'm just going to say that much. So keep a prayer out. It's the holidays. It's the worst time to have a tragedy, but tragedy is happening right now behind the scenes. So just that's all I'm going to say. I'm sorry to bring this on a downer, but I wish everybody have the happiest of holidays. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, everything else that I'm forgetting here. Please don't drink and drive at whatever party you're going to. Don't do that any time of the year, but especially this year, I'm really heavy on it. Don't drink and drive or anything else and drive. Stay home or take a ride share or use a bicycle like they do in Europe or public transportation, but stay off
just
the wheel.
Walking's fun when you're drunk.
Walking is great.
Just do that. Walk. And on that's a great bit of advice to end the show on. So yes, until next time, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate, make sure you celebrate well and enjoy yourself. And we will see you, or we will be talking into your ears. Next week will be wrap up 2021. But yeah, until next time, as always, take care of yourselves and each other.